So I thought, what am I going to talk about? I thought, let me talk about authentic leadership, because having been in this country now for many, many years, one of the biggest challenges that we're facing in our country, that is creating serious challenges that we're seeing even today, and even last year and this year, and then a couple of years since our democracy, is the crisis of leadership. Would you agree with me on that? It's a crisis of leadership. And when you're sitting here, you're already selected by providence that you're going to be a leader. And therefore, I felt the most important thing I can do, because the lecturers will teach you economics, the lecturers will teach you finance, the lecturers will teach you everything else, operations, whatever you want to learn, you will learn here. But if I can emphasize one thing in you, that you are a leader, and therefore you've got to make a choice what type of a leader you're going to be as you leave this institution at the end of 2 years. So, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to just describe what is an authentic leader, which I believe we lack solely in our nation today, and even in our continent. And then secondly, I would like to leave you with questions which I would like you to grapple with for the next 2 years. Happy to get this presentation circulated to you so that you do not have to take copious note about it. So, what is an authentic leader? First, I would like you to read the book of Bill George, True North. I was fortunate to read it early in my life, and it has really guided me. It has given me the true north. And it speaks a lot about what I'm going to be saying. And I've been able to internalize it and actually made sure that it guides my life. The first thing that I'd like to emphasize in your life is that you must describe, define, and write it down in simple and plain language. What is your purpose in life? Why are you here? Why did you land here? Nobody came here by accident. I don't care how you landed here, but you are here. Why are you here? Why you exist? At the end of your life, 70, 80, 90, I was in Singapore at the beginning of December. The average lifetime is 82. I was surprised. At the end of your life, would you look back at your life and say, I have lived my purpose? And that's a fundamental question that you need to ask at the beginning of your academic program of this nature, because this is going to change the trajectory of your life, trajectory of your history, trajectory of your career. And therefore, unless you're clear in that question, you're going to meander through life, you're going to have so many distractions, and you will land somewhere where you didn't even plan where you landed, and you wonder why you are. What are you doing here? And I'm not talking about, when I talk about purpose, I talk about purpose beyond the big office that you're going to have, or a corner office. I'm talking about a purpose that is beyond the nice big car that you're going to drive. And I'm talking about a purpose beyond the nice big house you're going to have. And I'm talking about a purpose beyond the status you're going to have when you put your business card that's got MBA behind your name. It's a purpose that is beyond you, that is bigger than you, that will make this world a little bit better than you found it, using the vehicle of the MBA that you have been and the platforms that you will be placed on. And that is what I am talking about. And I challenge you to write it down. I had the privilege of writing it down when I was at your age. I can truly say I'm probably older than most of the people here. And that has helped me. Tempted to tell you, but let me not deny you the opportunity to really grapple this for yourself. Great leaders that have made a huge impact in their life had a very clear purpose, and they focused on their purpose, and they didn't allow any distractions. Let me tell you, when you come out of this university with an MBA, you'll be a VIP, and some of you will be VVIP. You'll be invited to so many places, so many conferences, so many dinners, and so many places and events. How do you sift which one do I attend and which one I don't attend? The only way that will help you to sift is when you know what is your purpose. And you know your journey. And it will help you to determine your lane. It will help you to run on at your own pace. Let me repeat that, run at your own pace. The biggest challenge with an MBA student is that you start running at the pace of other people. When you're running, you're starting to see who is overtaking me, who is not overtaking me. And I'm a faster than. Run at your own pace. And run your own race, leading to your own destination. Because all of us have got different destinations. And that's a point I just want to make heavily in your mind as you start this program. And I want you to grapple with it. You're going to do Leadership Quest. Where's Conrad? Is he here? He'll probably take you through that. And I want you to really zero in on this question. If there's anything that you need to remember out of this talk, is that what is my purpose? Can I challenge you? Ask your neighbor. Hey neighbor, have you thought about your purpose? I want you to think about it. And some of you may have. I just want you to reinforce it. I want you to write it down. I run a mentorship program called Unleashing Leadership Potential. And we meet once a month on a first Thursday of each month. And if you're interested, you're welcome to join it. And every person who comes to me and says he wants to mentor him, asking me to mentor him, I say no. Until such time you've written to me, what is your purpose? And you write it down and you send it to me on an email. And then, if I know your purpose, I will be able to mentor you towards your purpose. Otherwise, the mentorship is useless. Have you got that? I'm going to move faster now. The second one is values. Unless you've got a clear values that actually help your compass metrics to really calibrate your compass metrics through the values that are helping you to go towards that true north of yours, you'll be doomed. I'm not going to speak about a number of values, but there's one I want to speak about which we're lacking sorely in this country is integrity. You must purpose in your heart that this is one value you're going to stick by. I promise you, when you enter the world of business and you've got power, you've got money, you've got influence, it's so easy to sacrifice the value of integrity. And what we see in our SOEs and what we see in Zondo Commission, what we see, what has fallen, what has really destroyed, has been destroyed in this country is integrity. Now let me tell you about integrity. You build it for 50 years. It takes 5 minutes to destroy it. And therefore, as you start building your credibility and building your integrity, and you're building, if you to use the marketing term, that brand that you need to preserve very carefully, that is a woman and a man of integrity. And just make sure nothing destroys it. Because that's the only currency you have. And it supersedes the MBA. It supersedes even your performance. Because once you lose that currency, you are gone. I don't want to mention names, but you know, some of us super intelligent. In fact, it pains my heart. Because I've seen so many executives, some of them are my friends. We grew up together, some of them we've done MBA here. And they rise up and they become super CEOs. And they become super leaders in this nation. Talents take them to the top because they're talented individuals. But when they lose their integrity, my God, they come down tumbling like a brick. They move from hero to zero. And we lose them as a nation Because it takes 20 years to build a seasoned leader and a seasoned manager. And if you lose that, we've got to start grooming some of you, and it will take 20 years. So promise me, please. Please, I beg you, that you would uphold integrity so that your talent will continue to keep you on top and sustain you and sustain you and sustain you until you pass on and leave a legacy. Are we together? The next one is relationships. Let me talk about this one. This is very important when you're doing an MBA. Tell you a story. On my first day when we were like you, the guy who came and spoke and he said, listen, you're doing an MBA, just like Prof said. There's two things at the end of MBA you're going to change. I've said that, maybe some of you are doing PBA had me saying this. It's either you change your spouse, wait, listen. At the end of 2 years, or you change your job. Now let me tell you, I was clear in my choice. I changed my job. I kept my spouse. And I'm eternally grateful that I was been united with my spouse for 34 years. You've got to give me a round of applause. And I tell you, without Joyce, I would not have achieved everything that I've achieved, and I wouldn't be able to stand here and speak with such confidence. Because she became a pillar of my strength. When the work of MBA was battering me, the syndicate assignments, and when I was at the point of actually giving up, because these guys are going to really push you to the brim, and I wanted to drop out, she will say, honey, we're with you. And she created a haven, which is our home, so that when the knocks of life had hidden me, at least I've got a place where I could go and be vulnerable and cry. And my kids. So when it comes to relationships, I don't care about other relationships you can destroy with an MBA, but please, please, don't destroy the family relationship. And I'm speaking from experience. I've seen most of my executives now, all of us have reached the top echelons of our careers. But in the process, they were bruised very badly because they sacrificed their family. And I mean here, whether you're a single parent, you've got to have a family. And I mean here, even if you've got extended family, you have to have that support system. My daughter is also climbing up the corporate ladder. She had to go overseas for the last 3 weeks. She's got 2 little kids. But I was there and my wife as grannies and Kulu and Gogo. And we looked after the kids. By the way, it was fun. It's fun. So, to really spend time with grandchildren. So tell me, I tell you, I mean this, at least I have a benefit of 25 years. You can trust me on this one. Keep your family. Keep it. It will stand you in good stead. The next one is self-discipline. Without self-discipline in an MBA program, you're not going to make it, I can tell you right now. When they say syndicate time, it's time. When it says project time, it's time. When it says deadline, it's deadline. If an assignment needs to be submitted, it must be submitted. No excuses. You don't get paid for excuses in a workplace. You paid for results. Underline that. You have to be disciplined. And let me give you the dangerous part of this program. When you're doing the coursework, you're actually able to do it because every Tuesday you come here, whatever the day, and then there is a kind of a community, there's companionship, your friends phone you, where were you? But when you're doing your thesis and you're alone to first write a proposal and send it to the lecturer, and he doesn't accept it, and he send it back, and you're alone now. This is where most of my colleagues, even that I started with, failed their MBA. And the sad thing is that when they write their CV, they will say, completed course, but not a degree because I have not completed my thesis. And I promise you, when I actually, as an employer, and I employ a lot of the MBA graduates, when I get that CV, I know exactly, I'm not going to take that guy. I'm telling you, I'm not going to, when I see a CV which says completed coursework, but this is not completed, I know. I'm not taking that guy. Why? Because you're not a finisher. Yeah. You're not a completer. So if I give you an assignment, you're going to do the same thing. You'll work when you're working in a team. When you're supposed to finish it alone, you're not going to complete it. So please, don't have to write a CV like that. I hate it when I see it. And I take it aside. And sometimes I invite the person for an interview. And then I ask him, and I really quiz him, why did you not finish your thesis? It shows you are not a completer. And it will make you a con person. A lot of con person write on their on their MBA. And then when you ask them, where did you finish it? They disappear. They finish coursework. I'm not going to mention names, but one of the great leaders in our country, who was called a doctor, two of them actually. Their mistake is that they didn't finish the thesis. They finished the coursework. But everybody called them a doctor. The last one is heart. But what do I mean by heart? You must have a passion in what you're doing. If you're doing a job right now, you don't have a passion, use these 2 years to recalibrate and rejig and re-strategize and move out of that job. Because if you're doing a job and you're not passionate about it, all you're doing there is to clock from 8 and 5 o'clock so that you can get your paycheck and you're going to cruise through life. That's the most dangerous thing. You're not worth to be here. You're taking a space. In fact, you're a thief. You are an oxygen thief. You have to be passionate about what you're doing. Because we rely on you, we depend on you as a nation, as the economy. So therefore it's critical that you've got a passion about what you're doing. And it's so important to have that. And one of the most important things you will have to do as leaders, because you'll have people reporting to you, is to help them to also have a passion. And there's 3 H's that you need to help your employees to do. Is that they must bring their hands at work, and they must bring their minds at work. You can write it down, but they must also bring their heart at work. Most of the workers and employees at work, they just bring their hands. And they just do their job, finish, and they're out. So your heart. So if you got it, let's get it right. Purpose, values, relationship, self-discipline, and heart. Have you got it? Good. See, I'm a teacher at heart. I'll ask you to repeat after me, but you're an MBA student, so a master's student. I assume you got it already. Now let's just ask fundamental question. I'm not going to spend more time now because I don't want to take all your time. The first question I want you to be clear in your mind is who you are. I'm sure when you do Leadership Quest, you will be asked that question, who you are. Self-awareness. What is your story? You know, I'm in a better position now because I was able to write your story when I was young. I started to write it as a purpose. And I wrote it as my own personal mission statement. I mean, we write company mission statement. And I wrote it. And I was reading it during the holidays now. And I said, wow, thank God. I have lived this story. Anything is created twice. This building was created twice because there was a plan first. And the builders built it on the plan. So your life is created twice. You have to write your story down so that at the end of it, you can look at it and say, wow, I've completed it. What are your strengths and developmental needs? That debate is going to have all the time and be very rigorous about that. And please don't spend time developing too much of your weaknesses. Rather spend time developing lots of your strength. Because if you are a 2 and in your weakness and you work hard and you push it to 4, you're still below 50%. But if your strength is 6 and you push it very hard, it goes to 80, 90, then you're a star. That's a straight A student. So when you're here, quickly figure out what are your strengths and focus on those and develop that. Because that's what we're going to be employing you for. We're not going to be employing you for your weakness. Values, I've already spoken a lot about that. But what are those things that you deeply held? Integrity, family, work ethic. You got to work hard. There is no substitute for working hard. I like the MBA because it teaches you to work hard. When I entered it, I thought I was working hard, but at the end of an MBA, my work rate was there. And then I worked into in the workplace, and thank God I worked for a multinational company at that time, and then it brought in international guys, and they brought in a guy called Isfan Kapitan. He's now a global executive vice president of the retail business at Shell. And I realized that on the world stage, my work rate is still here. So I worked hard in order to really make sure that I actually operated the world stage. So you got to work hard. And there is no substitute. Principles that guide your leadership. You're a leader. What are those things that you're prepared to stand by? These questions, I'm going to leave them with you, and I want you to work on your own. Make it as an assignment. And if you want me to be involved in walking a journey with you in a mentorship program, fill up these questions first. Then I can get my email from the university and then send them to me. What are those principles? Because if you don't have principles, you're just going to be every wind that comes, every theory that comes, every ism that comes, you're going to be exposed to so many isms. You're going to just be like a flip-flop. What is motivating you? Is the internal locus of control motivating you, or external things? I've already mentioned them. Is the Ferrari Lamborghini motivating you? Or is it achieving your purpose that is driving inside you? I got nothing wrong about all these good material things. But they're things. Remember, they're things. Don't start allowing them to drive your motivation. Because if they disappear, you're dead. What is a support team? Who are the people you can count on to guide and support you? In other words, write it in this way. Each one of you consider yourself as a company and put together a board of directors for you. You see, I've got my own board of directors as Maurice Radebe. There are guys, even today, that are assembled once a year. We have a chat. They give me feedback. They tell me, and I've given them liberty to tell me things I don't like to hear. Don't surround yourself with yes woman or yes men. Give them liberty to tell you the truth. Who are in your board of advisors? If you don't have them, that's an assignment I want you to make. I do meet you, I want you to tell me who are they. Because that will tell me who the type of person you're going to be. Who are those people? Now, a lot of people ask me, gee, Maurice, you're doing so many things. Have you got work-life balance? I said, no. I have work-life integration. Because if you try to balance things, it's like scale 50-50, it doesn't work. You have to integrate your family. You have to integrate your workplace so that everything works together. Me and my wife do a lot of things together. One of these programs that I'm talking about, the Unleashing Leadership program, we're doing it as a family. All of us, my wife, my kids, everyone is involved. Because then we have a purpose when we sit down and talk, we can talk about it. So, integrate everyone in your life. So whatever I've been saying, in conclusion, sorry I've taken a little bit long, but I feel very strongly about this. I just said, please, be an authentic leader. Be an authentic leader. We need them more than ever before. If there was any time when we need them in our country, it's now. We need you to have a sense of purpose, sense of values, fundamental principles that guide you. You manage your relationships, not only just of the family, I spend too much time with the family, but part of the key skill as an executive and as a leader is to manage stakeholders, shareholders, board, communities in which we operate, and be able, government. In my business, I have to manage all those relationships, so the relationship skills is very important. I said to you, you have to make sure that you are self-disciplined. You've got to deliver profit. You have to. And if you've been set targets and you're not delivering, you're going to get fired, period. I'm not going to sugarcoat that one. But don't be lazy. And do not be entitled. The world owes you nothing. It came here, it was here before you came. Doesn't mean when you finish an MBA now you're going to have a big head and walk around and as if every company owes you something. You've got to fold your sleeves and work hard. Thank you very much.